Anastasia, and this is Cozy Corner, a place for me to talk about life and feelings and art and anything else on my mind. So grab a drink and get cozy, and we'll begin. Hello, I missed you. I'm back. If you were wondering what happened, last time I recorded a podcast, I actually trapped a nerve in my neck. Can you believe it? I hope it was worth it, the last episode. And then after that, I was like recovering for a week, and then everything kind of just went downhill. Not to be negative. I don't want to start off and be negative, but it's not negative, is it? It's just real. And the reality is, I've just been struggling lately. I felt so just burnt out, unmotivated. I've not been able to post anything and make anything and do anything. And I'd love to tell you that I've been like working on myself and doing meditation and mindfulness and stuff. The truth is, I've been watching Drag Race. I've been watching YouTube drama videos. And I've been browsing the true crime Reddits. That's it, basically. And resting a lot. And watching Harry Potter and doing some knitting. So it kind of sounds like a lot, but I've just been doing little bits and not much of anything that important. I think I probably needed this time, but it is kind of hard, isn't it, to kind of allow ourselves to be lazy. And I don't mean lazy in a bad way. It's just, for me, I associate not doing stuff with not being worthy. I don't know if anyone else feels like that. So if I have time when I'm just having time off and I can't actually do things because I'm overwhelmed mentally or physically, I always have this guilt of like, I should be doing something right now. I'm not worth anything because I'm not doing anything. And I think we all need to remember that we are literally in a pandemic. I've seen loads of tweets about this recently. Like, my therapist said this is a kind of traumatic time for people, and we need to acknowledge that and not be too hard on ourselves. And I get that, but it's just hard for my mind to accept that, I think. So yeah, I've just felt like nothing, like I'm not worth anything. And that's really sad to admit, isn't it? But I just want to be honest with you, in case you're feeling that way too. I'm really worried about the future. I'm really worried about now. I'm really worried about work. I'm really worried about friends, about family, about people I love. There's so much going on, but at the same time, there's nothing going on. And I don't really know how we're supposed to deal with that or the right way to deal with that. So for me, the past few weeks, I've kind of just dealt with it by being cozy and being comfortable and trying to just be kind to myself, which is really, really hard for me to do, but I've tried. And yesterday I was kind of like to my boyfriend, look, I think tomorrow I can maybe record a podcast. I think I'm ready. And here I am. I am ready. I'm ready to talk to you. And I'm kind of ready not to be ashamed that I've been feeling bad. So I'm just telling you like it is, basically. I'm also aware, like, I don't want to bog anyone down. If anyone's having an amazing day, I don't want this to make you feel sad. But I don't know. I just have to be real. It's weird because I think we're equipped to deal with so much. And I think personally, like, I don't really realise how strong I am and how much I can deal with and how much I have dealt with. Should I say dealt with? How much I have dealt with in the past. Like, we can get through so much, and I personally believe we're all so able to probably achieve more than we think we can. I think it's a pretty common thing that we underestimate ourselves. But saying all this, did we ever think we'd be going through this crazy time? No. Do we know how to deal with it? Probably not. And maybe just taking things day by day is the best option right now. So yeah, that is what has been going on. And I'm sorry if I haven't got back to your email or your message. I just haven't been able to deal with much at all. And it's really hard for me to admit that, but that's the truth. I hate letting people down, but sometimes it is just simply not possible to kind of mentally process things or deal with things. And there is only so much space in my brain. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, enough of that. One thing I just mentioned, and you may have seen me speak about this, I watched all the Harry Potter films, in order, of course. My boyfriend is a big fan, and I've never seen them properly before, so we started at the start, ended at the end, and wow, I now love and stan every everything about Harry Potter. When I was younger, I never thought I could get into the books, and I didn't have the books. I think I maybe had one and I didn't really get into it. I just didn't connect to it at all. And around the time they came out, I was kind of having a rough time in my childhood. I think that's when my parents separated. So it wasn't really the right time for me. And I've always kind of thought, why do people like it so much? Like, obviously I respect that people enjoy it as a series, as books, as a film, whatever. But I just thought this isn't for me. So I kind of went into it thinking, I don't know what to expect. I just didn't know if I was going to like it. And you know, when you watch something with someone that loves it, you don't want to disappoint them by not liking it. So I really didn't know. Honestly, within the first 5 minutes, I was like, this is amazing. Amazing. And if you haven't watched it and you have the same thoughts that I did before watching it, I really recommend giving it a chance. Now I'm going to start reading the books for some extra detail, and I've even signed up to the fan club. So what does that tell you? I'm obsessed. My favourite character is Snape, and I like Snape from the beginning just because I think he's kind of like, I sort of sympathise with him, and he seemed quite quiet and withdrawn and like he was going through a bit of a rough time maybe. And then towards the end you find out more about him, and yeah, I really connected to that character and really liked that character and how complex he is, and also how dramatic he is. After him, I really like Lupin, I really like Ron, I like Luna, and I like Hagrid. So if you're listening to this and you also love Harry Potter, please send me a little email or something. I love to hear what other people think. And I think it's really cool that so many people can watch or read the story. And we all have different opinions on who we like and what people mean to us. It's just so lovely. And you know what? In this dark time I've been having, it was such a fresh breath of magical air where I was really needed that kind of magical escape from life. It just is so beautiful. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's so beautiful, so magical, and just made me feel so comfortable because for a few hours my brain could escape to the world of Harry Potter. Now, this is a bit of a weird episode today because I'm kind of just talking, ranting, catching up with you. But I asked on Instagram if anyone had any questions for me, and I have them here. I would love to read you some of them. I'm going to pick 10 of my favourites and then just go from there. So Rachel asked, what is your favourite thing to do that doesn't require some kind of screen like phones or TV? I need inspo. Well, Rachel, my favourite thing at the minute to do that doesn't require a screen is knitting. And I used to knit when I was younger with my grandma Winnie, and I loved that, but I could never cast on, which if you don't knit just means put the wool on the needles to begin with. And I could never cast off, which just means take the wool off when you're finished. I always used to pass on my knitting to my grandma and be like, can you finish it off? Can you start it off? But I actually pushed myself to go get some wool, go get some needles, and look at a few tutorials. And listen, I love knitting. It's life-changing, so relaxing, so calming, just kind of sitting there, me and the wool. It's amazing. And I really, really like that. So for me, that is kind of my off-screen pleasure at the moment. Kia or Kaya, I always forget, please forgive me, asked, if you could make a candle out of your favourite smells in the world, what would it smell like? I love lavender, but not too strong, just nice and lavendery. I love violet. I love the smell of oats, an oaty smell. And I really like the smell of peaches and Turkish delight. So a rose, but kind of like a jellied rose. So if someone could make a candle out of all those things, I would be so happy. So next question. There's so many nice things here. Someone has asked me, who is this lovely person? Katie has asked, what's the best thing you've gained from the pandemic? So I think for me, that would probably be the ability to give myself rest. And I know that sounds very vague, but just knowing that there is nothing we can do about this situation. All we can do is stay safe and stay inside. So for me, I'm kind of a control freak, Virgo, but usually I don't know. I struggle with letting myself rest. So being forced to rest, I think, has been the best thing for me. And realizing like there's bigger stuff than work and emails and all these stressful things that we get bogged down about. There is so much bigger stuff, worrying about family, I think makes us realize how important they are. Realizing how much we need to rest and recover. All these things I think we usually take for granted and don't really focus on. But yeah, priorities, I guess, and allowing myself to just do nothing. So, another question. Kalia Berry asked, did you get snow recently? If so, did you go out in it? We did have snow, and me and Nathan went out in it and got stuck in a bit of a snowstorm, and it was amazing. We had like a 3-hour, 7-mile walk. It wasn't supposed to be that long, but it was just so lovely. Usually I don't really like snow or being cold that much, but I was so wrapped up. It was just so nice. And how lovely is it when you're out in the cold, in the snow, and everything's white and beautiful. And the town I live in is quite old, so there's loads of old buildings, and they just look so lovely, like a fairy tale in the snow. And then you come in and it's all cozy and the heating's on. Oh, it's so, so, so cozy and comforting. Okay, next question. What do we have here? What do you daydream about? I daydream about being in Greece at the moment. I can't wait to go back. It's my favourite place. You've probably heard me talk about this so much, but I daydream about the sun there and the food and my friends and just walking around the city that I love so much. I really daydream about that a lot. Kind of walks outside just in general and being in the sunshine. Okay, from Tasha, have you done anything in particular that's helped you feel better? So I think just not checking my emails, not checking my phone for chunks of time definitely makes me feel better. Do you ever get in the routine of just scrolling for no reason? I do that when I'm stressed, and just limiting myself on that. I'm throwing my phone away for a little bit. Obviously not actually in the bin, but other side of the bed really has helped me. Even if it's just like 1% help, it has helped. Okay, another thing, let's see. Jack Rice, shout out to Jack Rice, he's amazing. Asked me what was the last thing you did for the first time. So I tried prawns yesterday for the first time. And do you know what? I really liked them. They were like big ones, I don't know. I've also been a bit scared to try them. And I didn't think I liked them that much, but I really liked them. Apart from that, when I think about like major things in my life that I've done for the first time, trigger warning, I'm going to talk about blood and needles in this next bit. So fast forward like 30 seconds. But last year I actually got a blood test, and I've had a serious phobia of blood tests and injections for 5 years now or more, I guess 8, I don't know, my whole life, like forever. And I've not been able to have one for about 5 years, that's right. So I went to see a hypnotist a few years ago, and I didn't think it worked, but then I tried applying the techniques, and last year I successfully had my blood taken. I chose to, it was part of a medical trial, it wasn't even like I had to have it done. And it really made me think, well, maybe I'm not such a weak person, maybe I'm actually quite strong. And I'm really proud of myself for overcoming that. So that was, a really nice thing. And I look back on that in times where I'm feeling kind of self-conscious. And I'm like, maybe everything will be okay. Okay, a few more here. What's your favourite bird? Ooh, I don't know. A robin, I think. We met a robin when we went out in the snow, and it was just so beautiful. And I love how chubby they are, and I love their little red chest. I just think they're so cute and so English as well. They're so lovely. Whenever one appears, I'm like, oh, a robin. It just seems a bit more special, even though all birds are cute, obviously. And Eldritch BF wrote that. I love just calling people their usernames because I'm sure I'm just pronouncing them all wrong, but I am trying. Okay, what things calm you down? That's from Louise. Hi, Louise. So for me, what calms me down is I usually just put on a podcast or a video just to have someone talking in the background. And for some reason that calms me down. I also really like just going for a shower, even if I don't need one. So go in the shower, take my phone in the shower. I know that's probably bad, but pop a podcast on and just be in that moment and try and distract myself for a little bit to get past that initial anxiety. If I can't do that, like if I'm out somewhere, what I like to do is either write in the notes app any feelings I'm having, or I like to play Sudoku on my phone. I love that game so much. I'm not very good at it, but I do find it very relaxing. Okay, Saika Delala asked, are you going to do more in-person workshops next year? I would love to. I miss them so much and I miss hanging out with you all so much, but I just don't know if it's going to be possible. I don't know when. I just don't know. It's so hard to predict. And I'd hate to do an event that people couldn't come to or people didn't feel safe at. So really, that's something I will have to wait and see. But until then, I'm going to do more interactive stuff online, hopefully. Okay, Petite asked, what do you do for yourself when you feel sick or ill? So let me think of 5 things here. I rest, number 1. I remember my dad telling me a few years ago when I wasn't very well, like, you have to rest because when you rest, your body recovers and your cells regenerate and you can get stronger. So I try and rest. Number 2, I love a tea. Either a mint tea, a honey and lemon, whatever you like. I love it. And a hot drink just feels cozy, doesn't it? Or soup. Soup is good. Next up, I make sure I take my meds. I know there's some stigma against medication sometimes with some silly people, but look, if you have something that will help you, take it responsibly and it will help. Like, don't feel any shame in that. Next up, I would say I put something cozy on. I love a crime documentary, so pop one of those on, even if it's like a trashy one. I love it. And lastly, a warm blanket. For me, blanket is just chef's kiss. I know that sounds basic, but can you be a warm, cuddly, cozy, soft blanket? No, you cannot. And one extra thing, I love to open my windows and just let some fresh air into the room. That's a really top tip there from me. I think that's a really good idea. It always seems to like refresh the room and refresh me a little bit and just feels nice to get some fresh air. Okay, we're going to do one more question. 182 No Name asked, how is your house? Does it make you feel happy and proud? I love my little house and I will talk about it more, but at the minute I just have had no time to do anything. So it's kind of like fine, but there's so much stuff I want to do. But I do love it and I feel honoured to be in a house this old and I don't know, I really love this house. Like, I love its bones. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up here because I'm sure I've spoken too much again. But of course, before I go, I want to do a little shout out to an Instagram account I have really, really, really enjoyed this week. So the Instagram account is Jeffrey Walk, and that's spelled Geoffrey, Walk. So this is an Instagram account of an English couple, and they have been married since 1951. How lovely is that? I don't know, these little posts that they do take me back to my own grandparents who aren't here anymore, and I just love this little insight into this elderly couple's life. It is so wholesome, and I had so much fun scrolling through the posts and just seeing what they're up to. So yeah, shout out to Jeffrey Walk. Love that account, just so cute. The old man on it will post his wife, the old lady, and he will always hashtag, I love that girl. Oh, how cute is that? It kills me. Just so lovely, so wholesome. So go have a little peek if you're feeling a bit sad. It will definitely cheer you up. And finally, your prompt for this week. What shall I pick? In honor of this episode, I want to pick rest. So make something about rest. Write something about rest. Rest is your word for this week. Tell me if you do respond to that. Tell me if you've enjoyed this podcast. Just say hi, whatever you want. Please send me your lovely emails still because I love receiving them and I've just really missed doing this podcast. I feel like this is the highlight of my week right now. Hope you enjoyed this. Give me a little review if you did. Send me a message, whatever. It's just so nice to have this interaction with you. I want to end this just by saying if you have been struggling too lately, please, please, please tell someone. Please tell someone that you're having a hard time. Even if it's a crisis line. I know it sometimes feels silly to call them, but you don't have to feel silly. There is no shame and they can help you. If you'd prefer to speak to someone you know, don't feel scared. Like, I know it is scary, but once you start, it's going to be okay. And if you have a friend that you know deep down will be there for you, just give them a little message, just start a conversation. And I think even if you're on the other side of things, so even if you feel all right now, just reach out a little bit to the people around you. Maybe someone's been a little bit quiet, been acting a bit differently. Say hi, because what we need right now is each other, I think. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient with me. And thank you for all the kindness that you show me. It really, really, really helps me to continue. I don't say that lightly. I really mean it. Thank you for listening, and we will chat again soon, hopefully next week. Bye for now.